Hey everyone, it's Audrey here from the Permission to Hustle podcast. Thanks for tuning on in today. I'm going to be totally mad real with you. I am actually filming this podcast while I'm in the car. I have my little phone hooked up to my little, I guess it's just like a plastic thing that I have suctioned to my dashboard. And I am literally talking as I drive, hoping that it picks up well enough on my phone. I'm thinking it will. I hope it does for you guys. I just feel like sometimes when you have something on your mind and you kind of want to get it out there, you just get it out there. And I feel like, especially with this podcast, because it's all about permission to hustle and hustling to get it all done, we have to find time to do things when we can. And I'm going to be in the car for the next hour. And so I thought this is a perfect time to just get this done and then hopefully get this live to you guys when I get to my destination, which is home. Always a good thing going home. I want to do this podcast today about toxic people and toxic situations and why you really want to steer clear from them. I mean, I think we all know it, right? I mean, it's kind of like psychology 101. You don't want to be around people that don't bring you up, don't make you feel good, and just are all around negative people. You can almost pinpoint the point where you kind of just go, all right, this person is bringing me down and I just can't be around this. And I think we all know, I mean, let's be honest, even at a young age, it's funny, my daughter will get off the bus and there's this one girl in particular that is not a negative girl. I mean, I feel like she's too little to be negative. I hope that you don't learn it that young. But my daughter, I'm always like, hey, did you see her on the bus? Did you hang out with her? And she's like, Mom, she just doesn't really want to be anybody's friend. She just doesn't really want to be with anybody. She really doesn't have anything really nice to say. And it's amazing that even at 5 years old, you can kind of pick up on that energy that's being given off. And it's not a good thing, right? I mean, nobody wants that. To be honest with you, I'd hate to have my daughter described like that by somebody. So it is pretty amazing that as human beings, not even just as women, that you do pick up on that negativity, really at a young age. But as you get older, and I'm 40 years old, so I'm going to say even older and wiser, you really begin to sift it out. I mean, I really think of it as like a sifter. I make my pasta, I pop it in my sifter, all the water leaks out, and I'm left with what I want. As you get older, it becomes easier to sift the negativity out. It's not any easier to do, but it's easier to define. I guess I should clarify it that way. But this is my thought process on toxic negativity, toxic people, toxic situations. I have always kind of felt you live once, right? And you really want to be around the people that make you feel fulfilled, make you happy, bring the best out in you. There are times when we just have to be with people that don't bring all those attributes out. It's just the way life is. If you work at a job where there's somebody in your office that, gosh, every time you're around them, you just feel yourself being pulled down or like brought into their orbit and you don't want to, but there's nothing you can do about it because they're your colleague and you have to be with them, then that's a situation that you just have to pull up your big girl panties and work around. And let's face it, that's just what we have to do as people. Sometimes you just have to work yourself around these types of people and there's nothing you can do. But here's the beauty in being able to have control over situations like that. You can eliminate them from your life. You cannot be brought into it. You don't have to be. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to be brought into it because you don't have to be brought into it. And that is the beauty of life. The older you get, the more you start to see who the true people are that you want in your life, right? And sometimes we're faced with tough situations in life where you really kind of look at it and go, wow, so those are my real friends. Okay, got it, check, note to self, memo has been mailed. And it's tough to have those situations in life happen where it's a really tough time in your life, you're down and out, or it's a really awesome time in your life and amazing things are happening. And it's funny, on those two spectrums, I feel like when we're kind of always in the middle and we're even Steven, people are kind of where they want to be. When you're down and out and having a really tough time, that's when you really begin to see who your true friends are and the people that you want in your lifeboat. Or when really amazing things are happening in your life, that's when you really begin to see who are the people that are on my side, who are the people that are on my team, who are the people bringing me up and is just as happy as I am, and who are the people that I want on my lifeboat. And it is funny how life works, right? That when you're up or when you're down, that's when you really find the answers to the hard questions that none of us really want to ask ourselves. But they're questions that sometimes just really need to be answered. And how I've always kind of dealt with negative people and toxic situations and toxic people is I've tried my very best to stand as clear away from these situations and people as I possibly can. I do. I opt not to get involved in drama. I opt not to bring myself into the fold of negativity. I have made that decision not to. I don't like it. I don't want to be around it. And I think that just as human beings, as I said, we get to choose who and what and where we want to be. And I don't want to be in those situations. I kind of can't stand to be around those people, to be honest with you. And I don't know if it's some sort of like sixth sense or what, but I immediately begin to feel myself get like energy sucked out of me. And it's just not a good feeling. It's actually a horrible feeling. And, this is how I've kind of dealt with it because social media is a connector of all things and all people. A beautiful thing about social media is that you can easily unfollow, defriend, block negativity from your social media circles. And that is a really positive thing about social media. If you don't want to see someone, you don't want to be around something, you don't want to be in the conversation, there are ways to get yourselves out of it. You just leave it. And that's a pretty amazing thing that you can do. You're on Twitter, you don't like someone, unfollow them. You're on Facebook, you don't want to be around someone always complaining, defriend them. You are on Instagram and you just don't want to hear it anymore, block somebody. That is the power of social media. In our real lives, it becomes a little bit harder. Let's face it. It's not as easy as pressing a button or muting somebody. You can mute somebody as best as you can in real life, but it's not really muting them because you're in their world. You still see them, you still talk to them. But the best advice that I've learned kind of throughout the years and how to really deal with that toxic negativity in your real everyday life is to try to just put it in a compartment and keep it there. So when I know I have to be around a situation that is a situation I necessarily don't want to be in, I kind of just go to that compartment in my brain, and I know I have to open it up. I have to come out of my compartment. I got to be present in the situation. I can't feed into it. I guess that's the number one thing. You can't feed into it. You have to, as best as you can, just kind of rise above it. You've got to just almost float above it. Put all of that negativity in a balloon. Imagine yourself holding that balloon and then let that balloon go. It really is almost kind of just in the psychology of it, trying to imagine yourself bringing it in and then bringing it out. You're going to breathe it in, you're going to breathe it out. As quick as it comes in, quickly let it escape you. And that is just the way that you have to deal with it. Listen, we all have to deal with these situations. It's nothing new for anybody. If we didn't have to deal with these situations, then you probably are not out and about doing things. You're probably not as surrounded by people and places and situations as many of us are. And that's okay. But I'm letting you know that, listen, there are ways to rise above it. There are ways to get around it. There are ways to be present and not allow it to own you. And you don't want it to own you. You want that negativity. As soon as you let an ounce of negativity in, that ounce has been seeped in. You don't want that. You want it out. Bring in the positivity as quickly as you can. And that is one thing that has always helped me, is bring the positivity in and do your best to just continuously surround yourself with the most positive people, the happiest of people, the glass is always half full type of people. And stay in that world. It's a good world to be in. And there are just as many positive people out there that can help fill you right back up. So I wanted to do this because, let's face it, they're around us. And it's a topic of conversation I do see a lot. So I do feel like it's something that's pretty common. It's not necessarily abnormal. Let's put it that way. So I hope this helps a bit. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a little buddy on my drive as I'm heading home. And now, at least as people pass me by, they're not going to see me talking. I mean, I guess it would be possible for me talking on a phone without somebody in the car, right? Just seeing me talk out loud. But it is pretty funny seeing the faces that have gone by me as I'm just talking and being expressive and all that. But listen, guys, head over to Permission to Hustle on Facebook. Join our group. Head over to Instagram too. We post over there some inspirational, motivational quotes. And just remember, as we love to say, give yourself permission to hustle. It's a good thing. And you have a group of people behind you that are supporting you and there for you along the way. Have an awesome day, guys. Thanks for listening. And if you get a chance, check out our other episodes too.